Hi, welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to take a quick look and overview the device tree portion of the UI. So after you get logged in, you're probably going to end up at the dashboard section of the tree. So we're going to go over here to the left-hand side, and we're going to click on Devices. So once we get in there, we will see our home container for all of the things that we currently have managed. And we'll go ahead and click on the drop-down here. The first thing you're going to see is a friendly name for any of the locations in which we have managed assets. So in this particular case, there's one, and in your case, there may be many. So the best thing to do at this point would be to go to the location that you're interested in, click the drop down again. In this particular case, we now see a series of buckets called asset classes for all of the different things that we can manage. If we go down and we click on switches here, we can see all of the switches that we currently have managed in our Lexington location. And we're going to go ahead and click one more time and see all of the metrics that are currently being collected for the 110.5 device. In this particular case, you can see that this is a Juniper switch because of all the Juniper metrics that we pick up. We collect some very specific information. You can see here where we are looking at BGP adjacencies as well as OSPF neighbors. And if in the case of OSPF we look at this, it says it's currently got a state of 8, and if we slide down to the legend here, that says that it is currently in a full adjacency. We also collect some generic information that we can get from just about any device, whether or not the device is in DNS correctly and what its host uptime is. In this case, it's been up for almost a year. It's doing pretty well for itself. We can also take a look at some interface specific things on this switch. So you can see here that these are divided into critical and non-critical. So if we take a look at this 10 gig interface here, which is critical, we can see where we get the throughput, interface utilization, drops, errors. So much like all of the other parts of the UI, if we want to, we can actually zoom in on any given section and get a custom time frame. And one of the things that's pretty cool, you'll notice that as we clicked on this, that time frame was really only for our throughput. If we go ahead and click this one more time, it will actually then lock all of the metrics into this time frame. You can tell that we've set a global time frame because our time range button up here went to blue. But this is also true if we do things like hop up here to host time. You'll notice that that has got the same time frame. Or if we go down here to our non-critical interfaces, which probably aren't going to have that much interesting information in them, but we'll click on one anyway just to show that the time frame is the same. We'll go ahead and select VLAN here, and we can see that we've locked this time frame in. So to get rid of this, we can go up here and set this back to the default, click Save, and then all of our metrics are going to go back to our global time frame. So if we slide up a little bit, and we go look at this .23, you notice that the metrics have changed because different devices present different information. And so in this particular case, we can see that we now have a Avaya switch. And as we look at different pieces here, we can see that we can actually pull the memory utilization for the switch, see our used, total, and free. And over here, we can actually get the total memory utilization. So you can do this for any metric that is generated for any device that we currently have under management. But there's a couple other pieces of information here that are significant as well. As you notice, we have another menu. It's graphs. We're going to click over here to the info side. This is metadata about the information. These are all different properties and things that are added as part of the onboarding process. And some of these are passed through when the device comes on board. Others are automatically collected. And so if we scroll down a little bit here, we can see all of the IP addresses that are on the device. We can see specifically what type of device, what version of code that it's currently running in, and what its system name is. So this could be very important as you are looking to gather some very quick idea of you had a problem, you look at the switch, you want to know what the code base is. Here's a good place that we can come find that if you're already in the tool looking around. The other piece that is interesting is you can actually go over here to the raw data, and these are the numbers that are pulled. And so in certain cases, if you're looking for like very specific information when you want to see a change in the numbers, how big it is, and the visualization piece just really isn't doing it for you, you could come in here and take a look, and it will give you the actual value. In this section, you can also see any alerts that are generated. So in this particular case, there aren't any alerts generated. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop down here to the HTTP section. I'll hop back over to graphs really quickly. From the graph on the right-hand side here, we can see this is in a state of 5. And according to our legend, 5 is can't connect. And since it can't connect to it, that is why we can't gather any meaningful data. If we slide over here, we can actually see that it has been down for a very long time. But more importantly, if we hop over to the alert section, we can actually see the alert, when alert was generated, the device, we're in that device tree, so we already know what it was. It tells you the data source and the data point and gives us the specific value. It'll also tell you over here on the right-hand side what value caused it to alert. So in this particular case, it threw an exception because it does equal 5, which means we can't get to it. You can also see that we generate a little more specific information down here in terms of what went wrong or how it went wrong. And if we slide down here, we can also look, because it looks like there is an HTTPS that is also can't connect. And we're going to get roughly the same information that says, hey, we can't get. So what this tells us is that the HTTP server is either off or crashed on this device, and the operations center will be looking into it and getting back to you shortly about what happened and why. So the device tree is pretty critical, as this is the part of the UI that gives you the view into all of the metrics that we currently collect, the data that they're collecting. So this is really the view that the operations staff has as well. So it gives you a real good overview into the status of your network and what's going on at any point in time. If you have any questions about this, or there's a comment you'd like to make, please contact your onboarding project manager or your SDM, and we are here to help. Thank you for taking the time.